What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again, once again. In the most recent roadmap provided by Bungie, they outlined everything coming to Destiny from the end of January to fall 2018. Not to sound cynical or anything, but the two largest updates just so happen to coincide with DLC windows. I get that Bungie likes to use these windows as a vehicle to push large pieces of content, but most of these changes, if not all of these changes, are needed sooner rather than later. One look at the announced changes, and you'd be forgiven for having one of two reactions. A, wait, let me get this right, Bungie is just adding stuff that should have been in the game from launch, and as snarky as that reaction might seem, it's well within the bounds of reason to have. Some of these things are just basic. Like, I don't know, text chat on the tower on the PC version of Destiny, or things like the raid reward rework. Say that 5 times fast. The TLDR is they'll be adding mods with raid-specific perks on top of a new ghost with a raid-specific perk. And in the event that you don't already have everything from the raid because, you know, it's been out over half a year now, you'll be able to buy raid weapons and armor from Benedict with the raid currency. And it is a sad, sad state of affairs when they have to end this section saying, "We intend to return to creating more raid and other activity unique rewards in the future." That's kind of ridiculous. I mean, you're just announcing that you plan on, doing your fucking job? Or the other reaction you might rightfully have looking at all of this is the B reaction. Oh, well, it's good to see that Bungie is slowly giving us back Destiny 1 with no real commitment to actually give us back Destiny 1. I mean, look at 6v6 coming back, and custom games coming back, and strike scoring coming back. 3 great additions to Destiny 2, don't get me wrong. I am glad to see them, but, I mean, this was pretty standard by the end of year 3. And most of this was stuff that, by the end of Destiny year 3, we'd been asking for years at this point, only to lose it with Destiny 2, and then get it back half a year later. Okay, thanks. And like I said, you probably realize that most of this stuff was things that the Destiny community was asking for in Destiny 1, and actually would serve better in Destiny 1. But this is the world we live in, so better late than never, I guess. Credit where credit is due, however. We do have the most comprehensive roadmap for the future of Destiny in the history of the franchise. It only took Bungie releasing Destiny 2 in a shit state, a few months of really, really bad communication, and a disappointing expansion, a pissed off fan base continuing to hemorrhage, on top of 3 revolts over the cash shop, and another one likely looming on the horizon. Because it's not just that the loot is locked behind the cash shop, it's that it also takes away from the prestige of doing harder activities when all the cool shit can be gotten for doing nothing more than grinding public events, or using mommy's credit card. But, credit where credit is due, this is the best roadmap that they have ever given us, so there is that. I could go over every individual item here and give my thoughts, but that would grow redundant quickly. All in all, this update is impressively unimpressive. This update does a lot of things, that's for sure, and it will improve the quality of the Destiny 2 experience for people currently enjoying the Destiny 2 experience. If you like Destiny 2 now, if you liked it before Curse of Osiris, this update is for you. I think for the majority, for the old guard, watching Destiny 2 do the exact same thing as Destiny 1 did is frustrating. We already lived this, why is it happening again? I think looking at the list and seeing half the items are stuff returning from Destiny 1, knowing full well that there's no excuse that some of this wasn't in the full game from the beginning, is frustrating. I think watching Bungie dance around the actual issues of the game without addressing them in any relative time frame, like the weapon system, the player fantasy, and the player investment system, is frustrating. And I say the player investment system because, well, we won't know the scope of the changes until we have them with DLC 2. In the roadmap, none of these changes, even in aggregate, look like they will improve the game going forward in any real meaningful way before Expansion 1. And while there will be some changes before Expansion 1 that look amazing, it's not going to save the game. This isn't going to bring Destiny back to where it was during Taken King or Rise of Iron. It's more or less just the same, without some sweeping changes to the way the player interacts with the game, and one hell of an offering from DLC 2, these updates are pointless. Bungie is treating Destiny 2 as if there's nothing wrong with the core of Destiny 2, and that these ancillary things are the real problem, they're the real issues, and if they do just enough quality of life improvements, it will fix the game. The best example of this is ranked play. You could have the best ranking system in the entire world, but if your PvP isn't fun, who gives a shit? You also have the added aspect that Destiny is a looter-shooter game, so people naturally want some kind of reward system tied to being good. Gasp! Shock! Fucking surprise! I know! The elite want to look elite and be rewarded for being elite. The sun is also hot. Water is wet. The rain in Spain stays mostly on the plain. Ironic enough, that also sums up 90% of Destiny 2's endgame problems. In its current state, Ranked won't help Destiny 2's PvP, because the core of the experience isn't a good experience. Changing the weapon loadout system back to Destiny 1's weapon loadout system, which may actually be happening, returning power to players, and randomly rolled weapons worth grinding for will do far more good for the health of Destiny 2's PvP than Ranked play ever could. Ranked play only works, it only matters when the game it's in is in a good place. When it's not in a good place, nobody cares. Don't get me wrong, not all is doom and gloom on this list. There are a few items that I am genuinely interested in seeing. Masterwork Armor, Mods 2.0, Weapons and Ability Balance Pass, Weapon Slot and Archetype Improvements, additional Crucible playlist e.g. Rumble, Pinnacle Weapons and Gear Improvements, Trials of the Nine improvements. But most of this won't be happening until fall 2018. And honestly, most of this just goes to show that Destiny 2 desperately needed another year of development time. I mean, think about it. Most of the critical changes will be coming to Destiny 2 around the 1-year anniversary of Destiny 2's release, and will likely be part of Destiny 2's version of Taken King. Chris and the live team have a thankless task, so I don't blame them for cleaning up somebody else's mess. I don't blame them for the time it's going to take to create and test and implement all these new and returning features. Granted, I do think some of their priorities are weird, but that's likely due to the ease of implementation. The people I do blame, however, are the ones that mismanaged Destiny 2's initial development. So much so that it's in the state it is now. So much so that we need all these fixes and changes in the first place. So much so that even when we are in the fall of 2018, when we have Taken King 2 and we have all these fixes and patches and changes and workarounds and yada 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 yada, Bungie will still be playing catch up to Destiny 1. That said, I do have faith in Chris and his team to bridge that gap. Because I think he gets the player frustration. Like he said in a tweet, Destiny 2 needs more weapons that matter, both in power and the hunt to acquire them. Exotics need to live up to their name. And the most skillful or visceral weapons like snipers, shotguns, and fusion rifles need to return to glory. We're on it. That, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, is exactly what I want to hear. And with that, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and like always, stay frosty. What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again, with an announcement. On February 9th, I will be joining the wonderful people over at Destiny Tracker for their DTR podcast. The show begins at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Twitch. And of course, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, I will provide further updates and links and information once I have it. So yeah, just mark it on your calendar, February 9th, and yeah. Come out for a laid-back and respectable conversation about Destiny 2. Anyways, that's it from me. Like always, stay frosty.